Hey traders, welcome to the week ahead. Let's get the housekeeping out of the way. This video is only for educational purposes. It expresses my own personal opinions. It doesn't offer financial advice. By watching this video, you agree not to hold the distributors of this video responsible for any of the ideas and opinions expressed. Trading in the currency market is high risk, and because of the high leverage that is used in trading, you can stand to lose some or all of your money. If you have any doubt about trading in the currency market or feel you need investment advice, then you need to go to a qualified registered financial advisor before any investment is made. Okay, last week there were a few moves on, but overall, generally, it was a fairly flat week. And the week before was good, and we saw some really good moves. Like here's, for example, is the Aussie CAD, and we've had a really good move down there. And on Thursday, it started to just pull up a little bit, and today with the opening candle, maybe we're going to get a retest up in here. It looks possible, doesn't it? And I want to be very careful with the words that I use, because words conjure up images in our mind. And if I say, look, it's doing a retest, let's get in up here, and then it trucks through this area and it doesn't turn around until somewhere up here, we can make some mistakes in trading. So we've always got to be flexible. We've always got to look at what the market's telling us to do. That's why I like levels of resistance and support. And as I've said many times, there's a fund manager that says if you learn to trade support and resistance correctly and learn to trade around that simple philosophy, you will be very pleased with the results. You can make a living out of trading. So what happens with trading is that we add all these extras in that complicate it, and we wonder why we can't get ahead. Okay, so what we're looking at here on the Aussie CAD is, I've taken profit. Obviously, I took all my profits off last week and put the money in the bank later in the week, and now I'm waiting. What am I waiting for? Like I said, a retest of this area. I want to see a bearish signal. What would a bearish signal look like? Something like this here. See how it just popped up, closed back down here around about the open of this last candle, and then look at all the indecision. The close and the opens were very it didn't go anywhere for 3 days. And then we had this engulfing candle, and all we had to do was put a heading order under there, and Bob's your uncle. So we're looking for something that's going to give us a clue that the market's deciding to move down off this area. If it bounces back up, then that becomes another matter altogether, and you could see something like this today or tomorrow. This is a possibility, coming back through here, closing up here, trying to make another high, and then suddenly it breaks here, and there's your entry, and there's a little trade up there for you. Aussie Swiss, good move down, no trade at present. We currently have what we call an inside bar here, so until it breaks out of the low or the high of this bar or this candle, I'm not doing anything with it. These are the key levels. You can see that better. One could argue that you could put this trend line up higher, but this generally gets the range. It's subjective to individual traders where you put your trend lines. I try to get as many touches as I can. You'd be right in putting another support area up in here. That's all good. Whatever takes your fancy. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter as long as you get the gist of what this pair is doing. And of course, it was locked in this range here until it broke out and came back in, broke out, came back in. This is where traders get beaten up. So we look like there's a possibility that this could be starting to form a support area here. And if it does, then just maybe we could get a retest of this before it starts to come down. The big picture, I don't have a great deal of confidence that we're going to make a massive move up. Don't forget your bigger time frames, because that gives you a bigger picture, and you can see there on the weekly that we've been in a strong downtrend, and we haven't really taken out this high up here. So we're not in a reversal. So this could just be marking time before we continue in the trend again. If, however, it breaks out of this area here and begins to take this high out, then we need to reassess it. That could be the time to be looking for a move up. AUD JPY. Again, I just left the weekly on to let you know that we have actually taken the high out, and this could be a pullback and a move up. Now, this is a week. This is going to take a long time to play out. It's not close enough to price action, but if we come back, this gives you a big picture possibility. If we come back to the daily, we can see that we've been trending up quite nicely, and now the question is this just a pullback, or is this a start of a move down? That's the $64,000 question. So here's your key levels. And all we're looking for is a break of some of these levels. Here's number one for me. You can see these at top there, where there's support and resistance, and we're there at the moment, so it could well be that that may bottom out here. And if so, then we would be looking for a bounce off here to continue the uptrend. So if we go back to the bigger time frame, again, to get a big picture view, we have taken the high out, and when we take the high out, it does suggest that possibly we are getting ready for a change of direction. So what has to happen if we have a change of direction? This could bounce from here, or it could come down as low as here, and this will take a couple of weeks to play out if this is going to. And if we do that, then what you'll have is a crown, an inverted crown, which the expert pattern traders tell us is a sign of a reversal. So what would happen? The market would come down here, like this, form a right shoulder, and then start to come up. Take out this neckline. It's not a very good neckline. Sorry about that. But if we go to the drawing tool here, so this market could come down and come and see this in here. Left shoulder, right shoulder, so the market could bounce off here and start to make a move up. There's the neckline. The neckline could be argued, it could be that way too, but I generally take it this way, breaking resistance and moving up. I'd be very much interested and feel more confident about a reversal in the trade at this point here. Right, let's get out of there. So, Aussie, New Zealand, no trade for me. Again, you can see the key areas of resistance in here. And you can just see it. I'll try and put it in neatly for you. But there's in there's a resistance area if you look left, and this is another one in here, just along this line here. So keep an eye on those levels, looking for a bottom here. Aussie USD, we've had a lovely move down, and we'll come back to the daily. And you can see that we're at critical levels here, right here, roughly. Look at this. And for this to go lower, it has to clear this out. And if we get a clear out down here and then a back retest and a bounce off that level, it's going to be a good opportunity to get in. If we get a break through this week, I'm depending on my strength indicator and my momentum indicators that I use or momentum indicator, because I don't have more than one. I might get in small with the break here, and the reason I get in small is because I can see this area of support here. Okay, so the distance between here and here is 123 pips. So if we get the breakthrough and it's not a fakie, that could be a nice little trade. But I don't really want to load up with decent lot sizes until I get a break of this area here. Or we get back up above here and we take this high out. I'd get in small going up that way if the strength indicator tells me there's enough strength in the Aussie and weakness in the US. But when you have a look at the USD index, you can see that the dollar over the week has still strengthened. Look. And people, remember all the people saying, no, the dollar's finished, all the comments you see on Facebook and YouTube and the so-called experts that are trading educators, be wary. The market tells you what it's doing. And here we go. Now this is looking like we've just got to go sideways, perhaps for a wee while. Maybe it's going to retest up here. So look for that. And if we get a retest, if the dollar continues to strengthen over the next week or two, and we're getting a retest up here, then the Aussie USD, when it breaks this level here, we've got a fairly high probability trade. So you can take it small, hang in there if you're confident, depending on what sort of indicators you're using or what you think about the trade. This could be a very good trade. Keep your eye on the US dollar index. There's nothing on the CAD Swiss. There's nothing on the Swiss JPY at the moment. And again, two neutral currencies, CAD JPY. There's suggestion that the yen is going to strengthen. So right now I've just got alarms here, just through there and through there, and I'll just wait, doing nothing. Euro AUD had a little bit of a move up last week, and we did the same on the Euro New Zealand, but where are we now? It looks like, oopsie, it wouldn't help if I got the right pointer on it. There we go. Got a little bit of a movement up last week, this one here, and now we're just sitting going sideways. Now these are inside bars. 1, 2. And in order for this to really give us some sort of direction, we need to see this taken out here and the lower that bar taken out. And this is like a coiled spring cooling up right now. This area here could end up to be a bottom that is formed, and then we could see a bounce higher from there. Euro CAD. No trade at the moment, just looking like we could be seeing a bottom forming here. So let's keep an eye on that. And that is the key level right in there. So this could just move sideways, so there's no trade at the moment. I just have alarms set in here, taking the high of this candle out and also taking the low here of support. It looks like the key resistance areas are in here Let's see. It looks like we just in there. So we could get a retest of up here, but right now no trade. Euro Swiss. I have been watching this, looking to get another decent trade in here, but look, we're just going sideways, and the range is come up into here. It's narrowed a bit. I would pull that down into something like that. That's more helpful. And until we get a break out of this range or a decent forming candle formation, something like this here, the range is big enough for me, and for me, my criteria is this has got to be 200 before I, no, see, it's only 72 pips. I'm not trading. So there's no trade until I get a breakout of here or a breakout of here. So no trade. Euro pound had a nice move down a couple of weeks ago, and again last week it moved down after the pullback. So you've had the first wave here, the pullback here. I wouldn't hold my breath on it because we're coming down now to just under 3 weeks. When UK pulls out of Britain, we're going to have a lot of volatility. So I don't see, particularly if we have a hard Brexit, if there is no agreement before they pull out, that is a hard Brexit, and we could see the pound drop quite a bit. So I'm not sitting on the sidelines, watching the news. If it looks like the European Union and the UK come to an agreement, then it's going to be a softer Brexit. There's a lot of hedge fund money going out of Britain. There has been, and there is. So just be careful with this. Even if I got a break below my baseline here, I'd be very coy about taking this and trying to trade it back down. If I did decide to do that, I would be trading very small lot sizes to protect my capital. Euro JPY, the last couple of weeks have had a lovely move down. You see we broke out of this range, so we've had the first push down, pull back, and this is sort of like the third push down. What's got to happen here is that it's really got to break out of this area. In here, you can see that over the last week it's just started to form a bottom, and it'll be interesting to see if that bottom gets broken. We can take this out, we don't need that here anymore, and it's just patience. A break of this trend line coming down, and you can pull that over here because it's quite steep, and this high in here is a little bit of a shelf that's formed of resistance, and you can see there's a little bit of resistance and support in here and here, and there's no guarantees it'll repeat exactly the same, but it gives us clues as to what it might do. So a break of this trend line and this resistance area could see a retest here. Euro New Zealand, that was a nice trade. And what's happened is with this move up, because we talked about this at the beginning of the week last week, and that was the trade there, just in here, traded up, you would have been stopped out now, and now it's come back into what appears to be an attempt at forming some sort of a range. So we would have to look at this here and view those as breakouts below. Fakies, bear traps, call them what you like. It popped up here, couldn't stay and get going, but that doesn't mean to say that it can't come along here and then pop out again. If you start to take this high out, that's where you get in. Otherwise this could be just range bound for days. The other level happens to be a big number too. Look at that. A break and a close below that could be worth another attempt. And that was worth trading, that one. That one there, or even let's go this one. If you took the breakout and got the entry on a lower time frame, there's 121 pips. So you would have got a few nickels and dimes, and you would have got a few nickels and dimes out of there. Euro USD. Now this is really, really interesting. If you took, for those that love Fibonacci's, the swing trade this is just a pullback. But fundamentals tell me that 1900 is pretty much the top. So in terms of using Fibonacci, your extensions up here and potential profit targets would be way, way higher than this. They'd be up at 122, and there's no way fundamentally that the euro is going to get up there at this point in time. We have Lagarde, the chairman of the European Banking Committee, speaking. She's replaced Draghi, and there could be some fireworks this week. But right now, euro, this is a top for me. And even though the Fibonacci's might tell you that this is pulling back off the top and it might be a 618 or, a 50, a 50, or 382, and all the stuff that we've been taught about Fibonacci's. If it bounces off 30, 382, then there's going to be a fast move up. All of that stuff is subject to fundamentals. They don't direct the market. Fibonacci's are not a tool that you can use to direct where the market goes. Fundamentals, and market sentiment. And right now, the fundamentals, the euro sector, is not trucking well enough for the euro to shine. We've got the US dollar going up. So I'm expecting more weakness here rather than a fulfillment of Fibonacci levels. I have taken this trade. I'm holding this trade at the moment, and I will still hold it. Why? Because it broke the key level here of 117. It broke this here first. That's where I got in. That was the key level at 118. Then it broke 117, and I added, and I'm holding that trade. My next target, hopefully, not guaranteed, is I'm looking for it to retest 114 area, somewhere down in here. I have my profits protected now, and if it wants to come down and turn around and go back the other way on me for a retest of this before it comes down, I'm good with that. I'll take my profits, put it in the bank, and I'll wait for another opportunity to get it. Pound AUD. Here we go. I'm not sure how confident I am in this, but if we see more weakness in the Aussie particularly, this is a trade that I'm looking at this week, and I don't want to get in it until I get a break of this level here. I'm going to get rid of the drawing tools. Let's remove them. Okay, so I'm looking at these key levels here. You can see that there's was support and resistance. This is a place where price reacted again. Now this was the move. This is where you should have got in if you were taking this. Here was your entry point, just above the high of that candle here. That was a beautiful trade up. What did we do? We traded into resistance. And if you want to have a look at support and resistance, here was a key support area right here on the daily time frame. That was the trade. So now we're at an inflection point. Now, if this trade is on to go higher, and bearing in mind that there's a lot of volatility around the pound, you need to be wary, but you could put a pending order in here. But I want to see confirmation. I want to see on the lower time frames, like I wouldn't go much lower than an hourly, but it closed of an hourly candle about this level and a bullish signal like this here. See engulfing candle? This is what you call a morning star. Boom. Now, bearing in mind, if we get a breakthrough here, then the next area that you'd be looking at to target a take profit would be up in here. So lock your profits in if you try it, and be aware that because of the volatility around the pound, some geopolitical announcements out of the negotiations between Britain and the European Union could turn this around on its head, and it could just drop out of the sky. So that's why you need to have stop losses and keep your losses small. Pound CAD, no trade at the moment. We've had the break of the trend line, but what we haven't had is, see, I'm not over my baseline, so I can't take it. That's where I'd be looking at getting into a trade north. Pound Swissy, nice move up. This is where the entry should have been, and you would have been pulled back out, but you would have had an opportunity to get back in again just simply by putting a pending order above this high. You can see how price came down. It closed here, open, close, was pretty close to the open. Then it opened and it started to make a move up. That gave you a clue. If you checked your charts once during that 24-hour period, you'd start to think, well, I need to watch this, put an alarm in for it to come higher, and this is where your entry would be. So you'd be holding a nice little trade at the moment. Right now, it's not a good time to get in again. But, okay. Now from here, I wouldn't want to get in until I get a close over my baseline. This gap here, I have no problem when it gaps, and the gap's wide between my baseline and where price is. I'm happy to trade back on the gap. As long as the rest of my indicators line up. So pound JPY, this has the potential of a gap trade, but you can see that we've been strongly moving back down. Once we got up in here and hit 142, we kept coming down, and we've made lower lows and lower highs. Right now there's no trade. This is a level that I'm watching for a potential trade at I'm going to leave it there. It's just 135, 337. This could just move sideways. So I've got to get a clear divergence between weakness and strength on my strength indicator, and that would give me confidence. I'd only get in small here, and I'd be looking for this area here to be taken out before I started to get in on bigger lot sizes. Okay. Got the pound ZD. Excuse me, no trade at the moment. It's been making a move up, and this was the trade, break out of here. And if you got it, hold on to it, make sure you've got your profits protected, and look to be taking profit in here, because this is a key area, 195. And that was a good gap trade back to baseline. But at the moment, no trade. Need to see a break of this level now, or a bounce off it and a retest of down in here somewhere. Pound USD, wait for the market to tell you what it's going to do. Again, this could set up for a gap trade, but I'm more inclined to think that we're going to get more weakness in the pound against the USD. Alright, so no trade at present. Maybe the London breakout tonight may give us a move over, an impulse, little move up here. As long as it doesn't take this high out, we could get an impulse here on the London breakout session, and then it could decide to start to move down. So keep an eye on that. New Zealand CAD, it is a bit of an oddball, but that was a beautiful trade. That was the trade I was in. Now I'm looking for a break below here to continue going down. New Zealand, computer's getting real slow at the moment. New Zealand Swissy, no trade. New Zealand USD. Key inflection point. really important. You can see this here. This is a very key level right here. You can see support, and then price reacted here, support or resistance at times. So what I'm waiting for now is either for this to come up and retest a little bit higher. This could retest this in here before it starts to come down. So as you can see, I'm on my laptop. So no trade, but be patient and watch these levels here. USD CAN, with the US dollar strengthening, you've seen that. Just watching key levels, and we can take all the drawing tools off. And there's a level of support in there. Look, boom. Suggesting that we're going higher, but I need to wait and see if the highs of these candles here are going to be taken out or the lows. My prediction, if I had a prediction, and the market will have to prove me right, is that we could get a move higher and retest 135. So keep an eye on it, keep an eye on the US dollar index. Critical levels now, there's no trade here at the moment on the USD Swissy. This has been a great trade up. This is very good entry here. Here's my baseline. You just have your pending order in there and away you go. Now easy trades, but currently no trade. We would want to see the US dollar continue to strengthen and close up above 93. US JPY, you can see with the strength in the US dollar, we've had this move up. We are at a critical inflection point again right here. In the past, this level here at 106 has been very significant. It's just there. So I'm presuming that this will come up, and if you've got time to sit in front of your computer or close to your computer, this could be a little scalp for you. It's only, no, I'm not even going to bother. It's only 28 pips, but I'm not doing anything until I see what happens at this level here. Right, let's go to the metals and then we'll close up. Again, last week we saw the move down on gold, and then for the last 2 days, Thursday and Friday, just nothing. This was the move. It broke. See how it broke this level here? Boom. Now we're down to prices 1850. Now this went sideways for days, and I don't think too much action can happen. We can go lower, or we can go back and retest this. But I find with gold that I tend to stay out of these kind of moves. I don't trade when it's in here. I'm looking for these big moves. And so I haven't got a setup. I haven't got a setup to go higher. This is the setup. You know, you just go sideways long enough for my baseline to flatten out. See the blue? And then my entry indicators on the right side, and then you just put a pending order in and away you go. I don't have that set up here. Gold can be very cruel to you if you lose. So this here, when I took this, I was able to monitor it because I happened to be up having a cup of coffee. And once I'm into break even, I'm quite happy to leave it alone and it can do its stuff because it can't lose. Silver is very similar. It can hurt you. So be very careful. So I would, this was a good setup. Look, it was closed out on a 4 hour below my baseline here. And this is what we were looking at a few weeks ago. This kind of pennant or ascending triangle, call it what you like, I don't really care. But when you see higher lows and lower highs coming together, it's like a spring crawling up, getting ready to pounce. And it does pounce. It'll pounce out or down, and it pounced down. And this was a really nice move. Right now, there's no more trades. I have to wait for the setup for my indicators to confirm. there you have it. Take care out there, stay safe, do all the health stuff, the washing of the hands and everything that you've got to do. Keep yourself safe out there. Wear masks where you need to if you're out in the crowds. And I wish you all the best this week with training. Keep the chat going in the chat room. I'm quite happy to answer any questions if I can. But remember, the number one thing is to protect your capital. To do that, you've got to have a strong money management. Keep your losses small. Don't chase the market. Let the market tell you what it's doing. And during times when there's nothing going, work on your strategy. Test out different indicators. You need a good entry indicator. You need good momentum indicator. And it's not the normal ones that we've been told to use. There's really good indicators out there. There's thousands of them. Go hunt them out. Test them out. Do your research when the market's flat. If you're not doing anything else. I've got plenty to do other than trading. I won't look at my charts again for the rest of the day. I'm going out. I've got stuff to do. I'll check the strength indicator. If you've got any questions about the strength indicator I use, it's an EA and comes out of the MT5 community, and it does cost you $90, I think, US a year. But I tell you what, I wouldn't be without it. I bought it for a year to try it, and it has made the hugest of differences to my profit margins in a very positive way. So take care out there, be blessed, trade well, and we'll talk to you in the chat room.